Hello, welcome to Drinks with Ron. I'm Ron, and this is the last of a County K Ale. My second to last batch of homebrew I made. Actually, my grandpa's recipe, I've talked about it before. I've been tweaking it, and I believe now I have perfected it. I mean, look at that fucking lacing. It's fantastic. Carbonated, just enough hops. Anyway, I'm not really here to talk about the beer today, even though it is delicious. Was it yesterday? Prince died, and apparently I am not nearly as big of a Prince fan as most everyone else in the world. I just never cared for Prince. Nothing against the guy. Clearly he's talented. Whatever. But then I got to thinking about it, and I started thinking it was other like Michael Jackson. Like, everybody goes apeshit for Michael Jackson, and me, never cared. I mean, maybe when I was 5 and like Thriller was out going apeshit, I was into it for about a month there, but that was really it. I mean, for me, nothing. Like I said, clearly the guy's talented. A lot of people like him. I don't give a fuck. And then I started doing some more thinking, and it was the next thing I came up with was Sgt. Pepper. Sgt. Pepper's another one. You hear all the hoopla, and then you listen to it, and you're like, so what? So I got into comedy, and I went right to Lenny Bruce and Bill Hicks. And they're the same way as these other guys. You just hear them, and you're like, yeah, what's the big deal? Well, the thing is, the big deal, the thing with Prince and Michael Jackson was when I was a kid, they were everywhere. I was saturated with Prince and Michael Jackson. Like, that's just what radio. Okay, this is the standard. So maybe that's it. You know, you hear it. Yeah, what's the big deal? This is what music sounds like. And it's the same thing with Sgt. Pepper. You're like, who gives a fuck? Well, who gives a fuck is that's what music became because of that. Same thing, like I said, Lenny Bruce and Bill Hicks. The first couple times I listened to Bill Hicks, I was like, so the fuck what? Why is everybody in love with this guy? Yeah, he's good. He's a great comedian. But why? Well, the reason is it starts to sound so common now. Because after Bill Hicks, everybody starts trying to become Bill Hicks. At least in some semblance. And for me, Carlin. Holy Jesus. What was it? Bill Hicks dies. George's next HBO stand-up series. He's out there in the full black, and he goes from, George Carlin. Oh, I'll give you the exact demonstration here. He does a special in I think '89, and it's called "What Am I Doing in New Jersey?" And he has a bit called "People I Can Do Without." Well, starting in '91, he kind of flips a switch, and later down the road, that bit becomes people. Oh, what the fuck? It goes from people I can do without to, oh man, he comes up with it. Basically, he gets more and more creative. It goes from I can do without to people who need to fucking die in the most extreme, elaborate, hilarious manners possible. But it's, like I said, it's kind of subtly because he's always got that boiling under, but it's like something. He sounds a lot more like Bill Hicks after Bill Hicks. This is Sgt. Pepper. It's like, what? So what? Yeah, they do a bunch of shit. The album's not, overly coherent and cohesive. It's just kind of bouncing all over the place. A lot of the songs aren't even that fucking good. Like, what's the big deal? Well, the big deal is, after Sgt. Pepper, everybody else wanted to make a fucking Sgt. Pepper. To this day, greatest album, some like Rolling Stone or something will call it their Sgt. Pepper. So it's, when you listen to it in the context of now, it doesn't mean a whole lot. It's not great by a lot of standards. And I'll argue that for, well, certainly Michael Jackson. Prince, I don't know. Like I said, I was never a huge fan of the guy, but his music was always ahead. So even though I wasn't huge on it, you could recognize that this is advanced for where we are. Like fucking Hendrix, man. I mean, Hendrix, I used to say this back in the 90s, and it still stands today. Hendrix could come out right now, and his fucking music would change everything. We haven't caught up to what the fuck Jimi Hendrix was doing back in 67, 68, and there's no doubt about it. His music will fucking stand up or surpass pretty much anything that comes out today, tomorrow, 20 years. And like I said, I'm not a big fan, but I can say the same thing about Prince. I think Prince, his music will hang with anybody's. Like I said, it was so far ahead, sonically, musically, whatever. It's gonna stand the test of time. Michael Jackson to me always sounded dated. I don't know. I just never got into Michael. But like I said, that could be the case of once he came out and just fucking took shit over, that just became the standard of what music was. So maybe not. I don't know. I just don't fucking like Michael Jackson. Never have. Never gonna be into him. He's got a couple of good tracks. Guy's clearly talented. I hate to keep repeating myself. But like I said, I think that's what I'm getting at with some of these talents is that when you get something where you say, so what, it isn't what's right there, it's what happens after right there. Because you have music until Sgt. Pepper and you have music after Sgt. Pepper. I think comedy largely happens the same way with Lenny Bruce and again with Bill Hicks. You have before and after. I mean, pornography, we've got to give Larry Flint his due. I mean, there's pornography before and after him, that's for sure. It's just kind of this watermark where it's like, you know, you might not, you hold that bill up to the light, and yeah, it's there, you kind of see it, but you got to look for it. And that's what it is. Musically and comedy, you have to look for that watermark. And you can't always appreciate it. It doesn't come out right in your face like a tri-colored bill and some fucking hologram, but it's there. And that's what you got to look for. And like I said, was never a big Prince fan, but I can totally appreciate the talent there. And I think the problem of me not liking Prince as much as most people is that I think, like I said, that's kind of when I was a kid, that's what music was. It didn't impress me because that was just the standard. I didn't realize, 3, 4, 5 years before that, what was on the fucking radio and what happened after Prince came through. And now that I'm older, I can definitely appreciate that much more. So it's the watermark. It's that line of delineation. And these are the lines of deliciousness. The gorgeous lacing on the latest batch of County K Ale, a long-held family secret recipe that I have now tweaked, and I think I have just about perfected, and I'm going to enjoy before I go throw some Frisbees, get off my fat ass, and get out into this shitty cloudy day. Anyway, for Drinks with Ron, I'm Ron, signing off. Fantastic.